This topic, it's a video I watched on YouTube from Saiyan Scholar. He went deep into it. Let's debate this. Who would be the best suited to use the Kaioken? We'll go around in a circle. See you cold sauce. Since you went last time, you can go first this time.
All right. The best would be the person who has the most longevity. Like the person that can like last the longest, the person that we've seen go through the most in fights and still stand. You know what I'm saying? And we can't say either of the androids because they don't have like muscles to use the Kaioken. I feel like if they can use the Kaioken, they have an infinite Kaioken. They have infinite ki. So
They actually don't have ki.
Right? Oh, they don't
They
have
just
ki,
energy. They just have energy.
but it's
Or
infinite.
energy.
Yes.
And what is the Kaioken's energy? That's ki.
It's it's like key manipulation to amplify their power.
Oh wait, they can't not have ki.
Right.
It's in everyone.
I mean,
They,
we've seen.
I mean, you could maybe say it's not
we've
done the
seen
same
them
way,
use
but
ki-based techniques,
yeah,
and they have.
they can't not
infinite-
have it.
So technically, if they can do it, they would be the best. They would have an infinite Kaioken.
I'll wait. Go ahead, Seven Ninja.
Who do I think should have it?
Well, if
unless
they can't, the
Oh, yeah.
answer is Krillin, because he lasts the longest out of everybody. I've seen
I've
Krillin
got
show up
a
and be the
Piccolo.
first to show up and still be standing at the end of the fight.
It's just because he ran away. I'm lying. He does fight sometimes, but he still ran away.
And then Dende
I'm
was
gonna
there.
say, yeah, I'm gonna say Piccolo. Piccolo, it comes to this idea that he can heal himself, like if he has to chop off an arm or whatever he can. And so with that idea, he could handle the, let's say he goes like Kaioken times 20. Like, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but like if he can survive, like still be intact, maybe give him a sense of being, I guess. But if he can still be intact, like he can bring himself back on his own. So I think Piccolo would be best.
That's a good point.
All right, Brock. Who you picking and why?
So you guys have both got the wrong answer.
Oh Lord, dude! If you save the
I
day,
think so. Kaioken, right? The reason that he couldn't use it in blue, but he couldn't use it in regular Super Saiyan, but could use it in blue, is because the level of ki control that he has would allow Kaioken to work along with it. So amongst all the humans and the Z Warriors, it has been stated, I'm not sure where, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. It's been stated amongst the humans that have trained that Yamcha actually has the best ki control. That's why he has that spirit ball thing that he does. And then he can bring it around. So, if ki control equates or equals the output that you can use for Kaioken and master it, I think Yamcha would probably benefit from it the most and have it be the most useful to a single person.
All right. Let's see. I kind of want to debate about the Android 17 or the androids first, and Krillin 1. So androids don't have ki; they have like energy or stamina. They don't really have like ki attacks. I think it's more like energy based. Because Saiyan Scholar actually disqualified them completely. And then one thing is like Goku and them, they can't sense ki out of them. If they could, then I guess if they could sense ki out of them, then they would probably like be qualified. But because of that, I don't think like they count. Like they don't really have since they don't have ki, they can't really learn how to manipulate ki as well. I would argue probably like in super maybe, because like 18 does have like that the destructo disc that Krillin uses, and I'm going with that does manipulate ki. But besides that, I don't think it's like anything they do is ki related besides the destructo disc. Krillin, or actually, I'll stop there. I'll stop there. What do you think on that argument? What do you guys think?
I'll start this argument off. You're wrong. For one, Android 17's shield is definitely made of ki, and we have seen plenty ki blast from the androids in the Android saga. One of which was whenever I think it was 17 blew up the clothing store that 18 got those clothes from. Just to name one instance where they used a ki blast. There's no other way to explain that, and that's actually one of the things that I don't like about Sand Scholar is he takes his information from video games instead of like the actual show a lot of times.
I would argue that he actually looks at the show and looks up the Daizenshu. The video game would show like that she's using ki when using ki blasts. I could see that being similar to like Android 16's Rocket Punch. It's like energy based, like it uses up battery power or whatever they got in there.
Versus the actual ki attacks that we've seen them use multiple times.
Yes.
I could see if you were talking about 16, because 16 like is a full-on robot. These guys are actual people with like metal parts in them. It's a whole different ball game. And so on that idea, they have to have ki. I could say maybe like theirs is used differently, or maybe it has a specific frequency that's different than a regular human. I could believe that. But as far as it not being ki at all, that doesn't make sense because they're not robots first.
All right.
Right.
I have pulled up from copilot.microsoft.com, which is Microsoft's AI, I think. Z Warriors energy, Kai base. The Z Warriors like Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo use ki energy, which is the life force energy that cannot or can be sensed, controlled, and depleted. They can train to increase their Kai, and their energy levels can fluctuate depending on their physical and emotional state. Ki can be sensed by other beings with the ability to detect energy, which allows Z Warriors to track each other's presence during battles. Androids energy, unlimited energy. Most androids, especially Android 17 and 18, have an energy source that doesn't deplete, giving them a huge advantage in prolonged battles. Their energy is not traditional ki, so they don't tire out the same way Z Warriors do. And that's all I got from that. But so the energy from Copilot, from the AI, the information that's fed into Microsoft that regurgitates says Android's energy is not the traditional ki. So if that lines up with the video game information that what was his name? Sand
Scholar.
Yeah.
Suck it, cold sauce.
I don't have to suck it because
I'm just reading what the internet says, and the internet is never wrong on anything.
Yeah, I'm not. The internet's never wrong. Get the fuck out of here. Dr. Giro states in one of the episodes in Dragon Ball Z that they never run out of ki or stamina, that they don't tire. And they talk about that throughout many of their fights. They taunt their opponents with it. Like one of my favorite Android 17 moments was, I don't remember who he was fighting, but he was like breathing heavy and shit. And he was like, yeah, go ahead and breathe. See, we don't have to do that because we're androids and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but they never said they have infinite ki. They always said energy or stamina, which energy and ki are like separate.
It could just be using a different term. Like they're not like Jiro may not call it ki, but like it's it's actually energy inside of a Goku. Like he could be using energy as like a different term. That's pretty easy.
He is energy.
Yeah,
Life
like
force.
it's just a different.
No,
term.
they're separate. They're not the same thing.
But I don't think Frieza would say ki. I don't think Frieza would say ki. I think he'd say energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a word that would be like invented on Earth. Well, no, because King Kai calls it ki. So it would be a universal, like that's the name for it.
Let's think about what he is though. Like he's up there and he's talking to the Saiyans or the Z fighters. He knows that they know the word ki. Wouldn't you use the word they know in order to tell them something?
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Good point.
Yeah,
Wall's wrong.
You wish.
I also want to look at the idea of like, God ki is different from regular ki, so therefore, like,
Which it is.
Android ki to be different than regular ki and God ki. It's just a
I'll
different
take
frequency
that.
at that.
That's a good point. Good point. Yeah, the whole shtick on like they can't sense the energies, the android's key is like that's to me like it's a whole separate thing than like the regular key that they use, the main characters use. Let's see.
I've been thinking Hayabusa just gonna hop in out of nowhere.
Let's see.
Actually.
All right, so Krillin. Let's go. Let's move on to Krillin next. Krillin. What are your guys' thoughts on Krillin? Seven Ninja and Brockstrap. Like, would he be a good candidate for Kaioken? Why or why not?
You're talking about like the guy who's always at the fight, regardless of anybody. Krillin is always there first. It would give him an edge he just doesn't have. I mean, he's willing already. We already saw him create like a new solar flare, right? 100 times or whatever it was, solar flare. So he's willing to learn techniques to give himself an edge. I could totally believe him learning Kaioken. Maybe he's not using it as long as Goku, but just like a couple of seconds or even a split second would be enough to give him the edge. So I could see it.
So would that make him like the best suited for Kaioken over like Piccolo, for instance, or Goku?
When it comes down to it, Piccolo, we're already aware that Piccolo is up there with Goku in them. Like he's rivaling them. He's not on their level, but he's rivaling them. So he's got ways to bring himself up without it. The best suited is going to be the person that needs it the most, and for that, it's not going to be Yamcha because Yamcha's not going to show up all the time. But
No,
Krillin's
not the.
always there.
Sorry to butt in, but like what I mean by like the best suited, it's not like who needs it the most. It's like who can actually wield it with like the least amount of side effects. Like who can actually use it to its max potential and.
Oh no, he doesn't beat Piccolo.
Okay.
He doesn't beat Piccolo.
I think he does.
What, Brock?
Oh, I was gonna ask Grok, which Earthling has the best potential? So as far as Krillin, having Kaioken, I could see him learning it. I definitely don't know, because again, if it goes to the basis of what the transformation or the technique is, and how the technique actually works with, if it is a key control based attack, then I mean obviously Krillin has good. He's one of the few Earthlings that know how to fly, send out energy blasts, whatever. Is so that he has decent key manipulation. But as far as who the best suited is, if it is a key controlled technique and the best key controller would be Yamcha amongst Z warriors. Piccolo could probably take that beating. I don't know if Yamcha can. He is not trained, right? Even during the Buu saga, when you see him walking around with the gang, right? He's in his like flashy clothes and didn't really look like much of a traditional warrior, right? But in the recent manga chapters, well, I guess not recent, but during the Moro arc, he was recruited by the Galaxy. I'm not sure what the police force, Galaxy Police, He
Galaxy
was
Patrol.
helping them out, and he was fighting
Patrolman.
again. So like, he still has that fight there, even recently within the main story in the manga. So, did he get it?
Well, yeah,
I think.
well, compared to the mass majority of citizens, Yamcha certainly is a great fighter. You know, there's not there's literally a handful of people from Earth that can beat him. You know, I think what we see from Yamcha later on in the story, especially after he trained like with King Kai and shit, Yamcha takes on a lot of. He could defeat a lot of the Frieza Force members from the Namek saga. So it doesn't surprise me that he went with the Galactic Patrol.
So for Hunter and Brockstrap, so we're counting all characters. So Yamcha and Krillin, when they used the Kaioken, remember when Goku first used it against Vegeta? It tore his body to shreds. And like after Yamcha came up, after Goku blasted Vegeta away with that awesome ass beam struggle, Yamcha came up, smacked him on the arm, and he screamed in pain. Cause he pushed himself to the limit. And then also he in tournament against Universe 6 against Hit, he whipped out Kaioken times what 20? I don't remember, or Kaioken times 10 with Super Saiyan Blue. And his ki went all out of whack, and he couldn't instant transmission anywhere. So my question to you guys, picking Yamcha and Krillin, do we really think that like Yamcha and Krillin can push their bodies to the limit like Goku did in those two instances with Kaioken?
Well, yeah, because it's not gonna put as much of a push as on their bodies as Goku's did. It's just gonna push relative, like it's their energy that they're using against themselves for the power up. They're not using Goku's energy. You know, if they used Goku's Kaioken, they would die. But they're using their Kaioken, so they're not gonna like. It'll still tear them up. It'll still have the same effect, the same end result to them that it had on Goku, but it's whether or not it's gonna last very long or be as good of a power up. I think Krillin is tougher than Yamcha by a lot, so I think he's gonna last a lot longer. And I'll accept that Yamcha had better ki control earlier in Dragon Ball, but as far as Dragon Ball Z goes, Yamcha having better ki control than Krillin isn't. It doesn't sit right with me. I watched Krillin on the fly invent the Scatter Kamehameha and Destructo Disc, just thinking of it in the middle of battle and then making it. His ki control is as good as it gets.
Well, I was under the impression he learned that prior to that fight, but I'm not trying to get into that. Like that's gonna spiral into something different. Go ahead, Brockstrap. Do you think Krillin or Yamcha would be more better suited than Goku at using the Kaioken?
I would imagine equating ki control probably to say music, right? Some people say there's two types of musicians. One plays music and the other tries to play music. So you can have a talent and you can work hard, and you can have a talent and work hard. But as far as the talent of ki control going to one person, Yamcha, and the other working on it, Krillin, right? Maybe they could both eventually reach the same level, since obviously Yamcha does it. And there's something to be said for hard work surpassing, right? And all in all, it's a technique as well. But some people, even though they aren't in it, maybe they can just come back to it and switch turn the switch on again. as far I guess I forgot really where I was going. I don't know. Krillin probably could do it better than Yamcha at the moment, right? He's been around. As far as fighting though, I don't really know how much fighting Krillin ever does necessarily. He had that little spat with Imperfect Cell. He didn't really fight in the Cell Saga though, right? He got his butt whooped by a Cell Jr., as did everybody else. He does police work, I guess, in Super, but no fighting really up until the Tournament of Power. No, that's not true. When Frieza's and forces came to invade, he fought off some of Frieza's forces in the Resurrection F.
What was Yamcha
But, I
doing
mean-
that fight?
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying though. Like all this experience that Krillin does have really isn't like a whole lot more than at the end of Z, comparative to Yamcha. He tries to fight off Super Buu at the Kami's lookout when Super Buu finally makes his way up there. He's planning on fighting in the tournament, but never gets there. Right.
He got in plenty of fights on Namek.
I mean, yeah, that's the only like super like large amount of experience over Yamcha that he gets within that, you know. But they're all training at the lookout together before the Saiyans come. They're all training
fought
together again
Saiyaman,
at some point.
And he fought Nappa. Yamcha
Remember,
only
he
died.
does train with 18. He does train with 18. Like, I believe that
That's
is
true.
Like, so
Okay, I mean, there's a lot more. Yeah, okay, I'll agree with that. But as far
then
as like, if
Yamcha
the-
also was like retired from fighting. Like you
right.
don't see
No, I
him.
don't disagree with that. I don't disagree
Right.
with that. But if we're going with just Kaioken, like again down to its roots, if it's a key based manipulation technique, right? Because it's a power up. Don't get me wrong, but we all came to the conclusion, I think, a few Great Nimbus debates ago that Kaioken is a technique, and it goes relative to the base power, right? So if Goku's base power is this, and Yamcha's base power is this, and Goku uses the 20 times multiplier, and then Yamcha, 2 maybe, he goes up to here. So like, I don't know what. I mean, Goku obviously, like Squall was saying, he got smacked on the back and he was in an excruciating pain because he tore his body up to that point to where, you know, he did what he needed to do to fight Vegeta. But assuming Yamcha has that better technique for the key control to make the technique not have that kind of drawback, and especially not use it. I can't imagine a time where Yamcha would even be in a fight that Goku and Vegeta wouldn't be part of already, right? To where he would need to exert himself like to that degree. So anyway, they could both do it. I'd imagine maybe Krillin probably would be better at it. Thinking of the training with 18 that I completely forgot about.
Oh, I think Yamcha did some training too in Super, where he's now able to defeat some Moro goons. But so far I think Seven Ninjas on the right track here, because when I'm thinking about Kaioken, I'm thinking about like the damage it does to your body, like how far can you push it. Can you like, cause like Goku, like King Kai told Goku, like only go like a double, don't go any higher than a double. He went to triple and tore his body up, and he even went to ×4 in that awesome beam clash. Like I can't really see Krillin or Yamcha doing something like that, pushing their bodies past their limits. Like it's about like tenacity, mental power. Like I could see Piccolo more doing like this thing because he can regenerate, versus like Yamcha and Krillin cannot. So what are your guys' responses to that?
Do I need to remind you that Krillin had Frieza's fucking horn through his torso and still got up to fight after? He didn't die
He got
until
healed by GND.
Frieza, like, no. Well, I mean, whatever. Okay, never mind. Then
Yeah.
we got hit by Dende. That's a whole different thing. But
Bro, he got that. Still got that
I've
health
seen-
regeneration.
I've seen Krillin get some beatings, and I've seen Krillin continue to fight through some beatings.
He's a trooper. He's a trooper. But he ain't
Now,
beating Piccolo.
I mean, if we're going as far as just whose body is the toughest relative to their power, I actually would like to change my answer to Videl because what Spopovich did to her.
Yeah. Eesh. And she stopped winning the fight.
I mean, Popovich, I would argue like the Kaioken would probably do more damage to Videl than Spopovich's weak ass.
Bro.
I don't
I
know,
just
bro.
thought about it. Majin Buu and Kaioken is even better.
Holy
than Piccolo.
shit.
He would never worry.
He would never tire out. His body
Bro.
regenerates.
What if he was in that state? What if Kaioken was always active for Buu? No, that's just what we saw.
Well, that's not true because that's a Kai magic, and Majin and Kai magic doesn't mix.
Yeah, maybe now. Not back then. Nah, I'm messing with you.
Okay, MMO.
So
What is?
it seems like most of us are choosing Krillin.
No, not
I'll
even
stand
close.
on my Piccolo hill.
I mean, but 7 Ninja, you're getting more on the right track. Majin Buu would be a decent. It's a tie for me between who's better between Majin Buu and Piccolo, because Piccolo does have better ki control than Majin Buu. I'd argue Majin Buu is kind of a noob when it comes to ki control. He just unleashes a shit ton and doesn't really know how to
question
control
Majin
that.
Buu would even be able to learn it because, whether it's a Kai magic or not, his brain power, he's just not smart enough to do a lot of things.
That's a good point too. If he can even learn it, that's also a good point.
To be fair though, Majin Buu does have a Kai in him, so that might cancel out the negation.
That's also a great point.
A Kai what?
Oh, we were talking about Kid Buu. He has a Kai in him. Does he absorb the Kai?
It was Fat Boo, wasn't it?
Yes.
Fat Boo was the only one. That's why he got fat, was because the Grand Supreme Kai was larger.
But it may negate it. Only for him. But then again, I don't think we've seen a Kai besides Shin and stuff, people like him. I don't think we've seen a Kai. I don't think we've seen a Demon Realm person use Kai energy before besides Shin.
Alright.
Right.
So let me throw you guys a bone here. There's one more villain we're not looking at that is probably the best suited. Yeah, one more villain that we're looking at is probably the best suited for the Kaioken.
You're talking about Frieza.
No,
he's talking about Hercule. Villain. Okay, you can't throw
it can't be Broly.
that bone.
No,
he was a villain.
It can't be Broly.
I'm talking about Cell.
I mean, I guess because he can regenerate. Of course, he didn't know how to regenerate that one time, so he might have died there.
He does. I mean, I would argue that Cell has perfect ki manipulation because all of his techniques are done first try. He's never practiced a single technique, and we've seen him use all of them: Solar Flare, Special Beam Cannon, Kamehameha.
Then he's got the Zenkai boosts. He's got Saiyan cells in him. I think maybe even Frieza cell in him. He's got Earthling cells in him. He's got Piccolo cells in him. So when he exploded, he killed him. I don't want to say that. He offed himself. When he exploded himself, he instantly regenerated all the way back and got the Zenkai boost. So he can literally tear himself to shreds 10 times over with the Kaioken and regenerate it all back in an instant and get a Zenkai boost.
He can cause those Zenkais.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that'd be tough. Oh man.
Yeah. And let's not forget, I mean, he did chop off a finger and throw it across the planet right before Gohan disintegrated him. So there is another Cell somewhere out there. I hope. I wish.
So, what are you guys' thoughts to Cell like versus Piccolo and Yamcha, Krillin? Brock, we'll start with you.
I mean, yeah, obviously I don't know if it's a technique. I mean, he already knows Solar Flare. I mean, all the techniques, technically, all the Z Warriors already had. So what's not to say that he can't?
I would
Well,
argue
hold on.
Goku used Kaioken against Vegeta, and that's one of the fights that was studied by Gero.
I mean, when you're thinking about like muscle memory, like you can forget stuff, like riding a bike. Like you haven't rode a bike. I mean, you haven't rode a bike in years, but like you still remember, like in your body still remembers how to ride a bike. So it's possible that like Cell is remembering that. Now, I don't think we've ever seen Cell do a new attack, but we've seen him do old attacks. So it's possible to believe that we've never seen him do Kaioken. Yeah, we've never seen him do Kaioken. So
Right.
I don't think he could possibly copy that one. I'm not sure why, but I don't think he could possibly copy that one. Maybe just because he
And in fact, we should.
Worried.
Because
Yeah, we
like
should
I
have.
said,
When did he get away from
that
Piccolo?
was one of the fights that Gero studied while making these robots, androids, all this.
How did he escape Piccolo after the Kami fusion and hit the imperfect form?
Solar Flare.
Yeah.
He didn't see
Yeah.
anybody use Solar Flare before then. And I'm pretty sure he
Correct.
also used a Kamehameha Wave before. So if he already has these techniques
That's it.
like implanted,
Is it really though?
Cell has
Yeah,
used
I mean-
the solar flare, Cell has used the special beam cannon, and Cell
Right.
has used the Kaioken. That I know for a fact, those three.
he has better regenerative properties than Piccolo. All signs
Certainly
point to say that sure he can.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. On stuff
go
that
ahead.
he knows, I'm sure his key control is amazing. But because of the things that we have not seen him do, it makes me think that he has to learn them or has to absorb someone that has that ability. Therefore, I'm willing to say that he's got great key control on things he knows. But when it comes to things he doesn't know, it's probably terrible. Again,
Well,
we
who
got
did he
to see
absorb?
him
already
for the
knows.
Cell Saga.
Who did
Yeah.
he absorb that allowed him to use the solar flare? Have we ever seen Piccolo do the solar flare? Like, I know he got part of Piccolo's arm.
Yeah, but I think he's got Krillin's DNA.
Right.
I could totally see him having Krillin's DNA. So that would, because I don't think Gero would pass Krillin up. There's no reason to do that.
Well, he has
Goku's DNA.
he has Goku's DNA. He's got all the Saiyans' DNA. Like even Vegeta. Like he should be able to use the Gallic gun. Oh
I
wait,
think he did.
Didn't
I think he did use the Gala gun.
he did use it against Vegeta? Yeah. In his second form.
Semi-perfect. Yeah.
So, I think so when we compare like let's say like Cell to like Majin Buu and to Piccolo, it's like we're kind of crossing out Majin Buu because like does he have the brain capacity to learn it? If Cell doesn't know it, he definitely has the smarts to learn it. I'm arguing that point for sure. And Piccolo can definitely learn it too if he wanted to.
And Krillin.
Yeah, all of them have the smarts to learn it for sure. And Cell's
I'd
got
say
the key
Buhan would
manipulation. Oh yeah, Buhan could have.
You know what? We're all wrong. Master fucking Roshi.
Nah, it should be Bulma. It should be Bulma. Listen.
Launch. Arale.
Oh my gosh. Launch on her bike. Bro, I can see it now. Oh my gosh. And then she somehow figure out like the opposite Kaioken for a good side. Like I can see it.
Ultra instinct.
Alright, well, if anyone else has anything else to say about that, that was basically all I got for who would be best suited for the Kaioken.
Yeah, we did a good job on that one. I really enjoyed the part where Rockstrap admitted that Krillin would be better than Yamcha.
On the road, early Saiyan saga, man, Yamcha would have had it. Or I guess early Frieza saga.
The
that's time
early
we did
phase
do a
They
number
wouldn't have known
when
about it.
Yamcha got
They wouldn't
killed
have known
in
about it.
one attack.
So okay, well he got blew up on, and nobody really expected that. I'm sure any of them probably would have also
I feel like Krillin
passed
would have
if
walked.
they got exploded on.
We all know
Um,
suicide attacks are like overpowered. Like second form Cell's suicide bomber would have destroyed everyone and the planet.
Vegeta against Majin Buu.
Except for Vegeta's. That was the most useless one out of all of them.
Right. But
I
I'm
think
not-
Yamcha would be the only one who could have got caught by that. And the only reason I say
So
that
during-
is that Krillin's like the only one. Like, if we're saying like out of the
Krillin would
universe,
have
right,
dodged.
like Krillin would have dodged because he's paranoid. Like he's already scared.
Gohan wouldn't have been able to dodge, but Gohan would have lived from it.
Like I could see Gohan getting grabbed. He's scared, probably scared to fear. I could certainly see that. But of course, we're talking about like pre-Piccolo's death, which is when that happened, right? So I could certainly see Gohan getting grabbed, but in the grand scheme of things, I see Piccolo protecting Gohan from that. So that leaves Yamcha, Tien, and all of them, even Chaozu, the trained assassin. I can see all of them except for Yamcha surviving that in some shape or form.
That's because he's naive. Nowadays, if he would have that moment back, he would have definitely dodged it or not turn his back
Why-
to a downed enemy.
Why did this Cyberman even do the suicide? That seems like a last-ditch effort move. So, like, did Yamcha just whoop up on him so bad that's why the Cyberman ended up doing that?
Well, Cybermen
More than
are
likely.
they're
Expendable.
Doesn't seem
Yeah,
like the first
and
thing I would go to.
they don't have like minds. They're just like basically they're not even really animals. Like they are plants technically. They're literally planted and grown from the ground. But they're
Yeah.
just savage, mindless little training partners.
Yeah, I think they were just programmed to fight, and then I think someone fought a Cyberman first and before Yamcha did and lost, and then Vegeta, like after he got up, like the Cyberman got up like all weak, Vegeta blew him up, and then after that they were all like, oh, okay, we're fighting to the death, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, not one ever exploded on Vegeta, did they? I mean, usually he would just whoop up on him to the point they couldn't. I mean, he finished him off, but like, if that wasn't the thing that they initially did in the first place, then I imagine they wouldn't initially do that against Yamcha as well.
I agree with your point that Yamcha did basically whoop the Cyberman. He was just naive and turned his back and got caught off guard.
Also, quick question on this too: was it filler that all the Z Warriors in the Namek Saga that were not in the living, did they actually all make it to Kaioken or King Kai's planet, or was that all a filler?
No, they definitely made it to King Kai's planet, but some things on King Kai's planet was filler. Like when the Ginyu Force died and made it to King Kai's planet, and they defeated like Yamcha and them. They defeated the Ginyu Force with ease. That was filler.
Right. Okay. So I mean, canonically, then they did have some training on King Kai's planet to where they probably potentially could have learned.
Kaioken. Yeah, I
Should
agree
have
with you.
learned. Kaioken and Genki Dama. Every one of them should have learned that. I don't know what the hell King
Right.
Kai taught him.
But that's also kind of up to the teacher too. If King Kai doesn't think that it was worth teaching, then he probably wouldn't have taught.
Yeah, because
That's just that main character fucking syndrome that Akira Toriyama had.
yeah, I mean you're not wrong there. Like when
Were they not
Goku,
all main characters?
like
I
when
think Krillin's probably the only side main character besides Piccolo. No, Krillin, 100%. I think Krillin has the highest ability to learn the Genki Dama only because he was given it by Goku. So I would like to see him actually
And
officially learn it.
we actually saw Krillin use the Genki Dama when Goku handed it to him,
Yes.
Mhm.
So that was pretty lit.
and
Well,
he hit Gohan with it.
Almost hit Vegeta if he didn't dodge in time. But
It
man,
did hit Vegeta. Gohan
oh well,
bounced
because
it
Gohan
back.
pushed it back. What's
Yeah,
called?
so Gohan hit Vegeta with a spirit bomb.
Debatable. He just stuck his hands out and happened to bounce right toward his direction.
Yeah, I love the way that Team 4-Star handled that. Goku was like somehow telepathically telling Gohan, like, you have to hold your hands out and bounce it back. And Gohan's like, I'm not sure that's how key works, Dad.
So there's a couple things like I did see a what if scenario of like a manga where Gohan actually died against Cell, and it was Goten. Goten was the only like Z fighter left, and Krillin. So it was like years later, and Krillin's actually training
Ooh.
Goten. Wait, who? What?
Against Cell?
Yeah.
How
So
was Goten after Cell?
no, Gohan dies against Cell. So Goten's like the only fighter left. Goten and Krillin trains Goten. And he actually uses the Kaioken to train Goten. So I thought that was pretty neat. And like I actually did look up one Churro actually like brought to my attention one day that Master Roshi does know the Kaioken already. He learned it when he died against Demon King Piccolo and went to like heaven. So I guess King Kai taught him there. But he never uses it, and my guess is like his body's just too weak to handle it.